At the beginning of the life of Jesus, a man named Joseph was there. At the end of the life of Jesus, another man named Joseph was there. In John chapter 19, verse 38, we read, after this, being the death of Jesus, after this, Joseph of Arimathea, being a disciple of Jesus, but secretly, for fear of the Jews, asked Pilate that he might take away the body of Jesus. And Pilate gave him permission. So he came and took the body of Jesus. The next few verses tell us that he prepared that body for burial and that he buried Jesus in a new tomb that actually belonged to him, that was in a garden. We read about Joseph of Arimathea in Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. And when you put all four accounts together, you learn several things about this man. We learn that he was rich. We learned that he was a just and righteous man. We also learned that he was a member of the council and that he did not consent to the deed that was done by the entire council to put Jesus to death. In other words, it appeared that if he had a vote at that particular so-called trial, he would have voted against it. Maybe they didn't even call him that night, but he did not consent or want to have anything to do with that. The Bible also tells us that, where we just read in John 19, that he was actually a disciple, a follower of Jesus, but it was secretly for fear of the reprisals from the Jews. That was not something that was derogatory or said unkindly about Joseph, but it's simply telling the facts of the way things were during Jesus' ministry. But now things took a very different turn, because now there would be no denying that he was a disciple of Jesus. He came to Pilate, and the Bible tells us in Mark's account that he had to take courage to boldly go before Pilate and ask for Jesus' body. He was given permission because apparently none of Jesus' nearest kin, his brothers, wanted to do anything with Jesus' body to bury it once he had died. And so Joseph steps in to take up the responsibility. And the text tells us, and when you put all the parallel accounts together, that he helps prepare the body of Jesus for that burial, and then he buries Jesus' body in a tomb. A new tomb, it says, that was hewn out of a rock. This wasn't just something that every person had. In fact, it was only primarily people who were of some means or some wealth. Again, an indication about his status in society. In fact, we're told he was a prominent member of the council. And it was probably that prominence that allowed him audience with Pilate to even ask this question and receive the body of Jesus. But now he's going to bury Jesus in this tomb, his tomb. He wanted to give Jesus all that he could by this point. He wanted to give Jesus simply the very best. You and I have an opportunity to give Jesus the best that we can. And like Joseph, will our hearts and minds realize what that is, and then will we carry through boldly, not secretly, and be a disciple of Jesus.